Pride goes before a fall. Today we shall hear a depiction of this proverb. So one day, in the village of Vrindavan, Krishna saw his father Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men making preparations for a big sacrifice. And he inquired, "My dear father, who is this sacrifice for? What is it all about? Please tell me. I want to know." He questioned his father just like a curious boy. Nanda Maharaj remained grave and silent and went on with his business. Krishna is too young to understand such complicated rituals, he mused. But Krishna persisted with his question. Even when having their meals, he continued, "My dear father, it is not very nice for you to keep secrets from your own family members. You may please keep secrets from people who wish you ill. But you shouldn't keep secrets from me. Please tell me, who is this sacrifice for?" Nanda Maharaj turned to his child and said, "My dear boy, if you must know, this sacrifice is for Indra, the Lord of Heaven. Indra controls the clouds that bring rain. Without rain, we can't grow nice grains, fruits and vegetables or even grasses for our cows to graze on. So we are holding this sacrifice to show our gratitude to Indra." Krishna was not convinced and said, "My dear father, I don't think you have to offer this sacrifice to Indra. Indra gives rain to everyone, not just to us. So there is no need to worship Indra. Even if you don't please Indra, what can he do? He must pour water everywhere, whether anyone worships him or not. That is his duty. Let's have nothing to do with Indra, father. Instead, let's hold a big sacrifice to honor Govardhan Hill in joyful gratitude because he supplies us all nice fruits, cool water, and lovely fresh grass for our cows." Understanding how dearly Krishna loved Govardhan Hill, Nanda Maharaj replied, "All right, my dear boy. Since you are asking, we shall hold a sacrifice for Govardhan Hill. But for now, just let me finish this sacrifice for Indra." "Oh no, father, please don't wait. Making another sacrifice for Govardhan Hill. It will take too much time. Just please take all these things you are going to make for Indra and take them to Govardhan Hill as quickly as you can." Krishna insisted very politely and gently. And finally, Nanda Maharaj relented. First, they cooked all kinds of delicious food in great quantity. They cooked first-class rice and spicy dals and lentils. They made zesty pakoras by dipping vegetable chunks in spiced batter and frying them in clear butter. They also prepared puris, sweet rice, and many kinds of traditional Indian milk sweets. Such a wonderful feast. After preparing this feast, the cowherd men decorated their cows beautifully with silk hangings, gilded their horns and fed them fresh green grass. Then they dressed themselves very beautifully and climbed into gaily decorated bullock carts. Keeping the cows in front, everyone circled Govardhan Hill and sang songs in praise of Krishna. Finally, the village Brahmanas chanted Vedic hymns and offered the feast, a huge mountain of food, to Govardhan Hill. Suddenly, to the amazement of all, Krishna expanded himself into a colossal, transcendental form and accepted all the offerings. Now, when Indra saw Krishna stop the sacrifice meant for him, he became very angry. These coward men shall suffer. I'll teach them to defy the demigods. Just because that boy Krishna told them to worship Govardhan Hill, they stopped my sacrifice? Indra called the most powerful clouds, including the deadly Samvartaka, which usually comes to destroy the world at the time of devastation. Indra told the clouds, "Go to Vrindavan and flood that village. Destroy Vrindavan. Don't be afraid. I shall be flying behind you on my elephant. I shall attack Vrindavan with furious storms. Together we shall punish those impudent residents." Soon the dark, threatening clouds appeared over Vrindavan and began hurling down streams of rain and chunks of ice. Lightning crashed, thunder roared, the wind howled and shrieked, driving the rain like piercing arrows. Floods covered all of Vrindavan's fields and pastures. The men and animals shivered and trembled. In complete helplessness, all the residents of Vrindavan came to Krishna and prayed, "O Krishna, we listen to you. Now please protect us from Indra's wrath." "Don't be afraid," Krishna said. "I shall protect you." Then with one hand, Krishna lifted up the Govardhan Hill, just as an ordinary child picks up a mushroom, and called out to all the people of Vrindavan to safely enter under the umbrella of the Govardhan Hill. "Don't be afraid. I will not let the hill fall from my hand." Being assured by Krishna, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan entered beneath the great hill. They remained there for a whole week and yet did not feel hungry, thirsty, or at all uncomfortable. They were simply astonished to see Krishna holding up the Govardhan Hill with a little finger on his left hand. When King Indra saw Krishna's mystic power, he was thunderstruck and baffled. He called off all the clouds and made the strong winds stop. In a short time, the sky over Vrindavan became completely clear and the sun shone brightly. Krishna said, "My dear coward men, now you all can return to your homes along with your wives, children, cows, and valuables. The danger is all over." Now that Krishna had saved the inhabitants of Vrindavan, King Indra appeared before him in a secluded forest glade. He realized his mistake and said, "My dear Lord, I was very proud that I thought that you stopped the people from worshipping me. Now, by your grace, I understand that you are the Supreme Lord and all my powers originate from you. Please forgive me and bless me so that I do not act so foolishly again. Krishna accepted Indra's sincere apology and said, "My dear Indra, please return to your kingdom." And before departing, Indra bathed Krishna with the milk of the Surabhi cow from the spiritual world and with the Ganges water from the trunk of his elephant. Indra learnt his lesson, and so can we. Thank you. Namaste. Please like, share and subscribe for more such stories.